Okay, what is up, guys? Tuesday, October the 11th, 2022, as I try to navigate this TV behind me. What's going on? We are live here in the Daily Crow. Chris Phillips of the Spurs Up Show of the Daily Crow, and my freaking goodness. What a start to this day. Look at this. Look at Todd Smith with the super chat of all super chats. Todd Smith showing love to the live show, showing love to the business. I think this is probably the largest super chat in the history of the Daily Crow or of any piece of content I've ever done. Blessings all around to start this Tuesday, man. $200 from Todd Smith. Todd, much love, my friend. You're the freaking man. Thank you so much. And what a way to start this day. Hey, we're starting on a high note, taking your questions, comments, calls. 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377. Of course, I don't know what's going on with the TV, by the way. The thing's like frozen. I see Jimmy Hunter, Chuck, John Rice, Jimmy Mendio, Brendan, of course, Todd Smith. Todd, again, man, thank you. I'm overwhelmed right now. I don't even know what to say. Jeff Gullidge, Gad, Travie, Gene Lott, Brack, Josh, let's see, Travie, Dre, Stephen Borwell Jr., Josh, Rebecca, Kins, John Edward, Chase, what's up, y'all? Appreciate y'all tuning in. See Youngblood, Justin Langford, also those in the Big Cock Club Discord. Head over to the TDC Questions channel. I see you, Chase. I see you, Chase. I see you, man. Also, those tuned in via the podcast version of the Daily Crow. Appreciate you tuning in. Lady Bree, what's going on? What's up? Trying to get this background here pulled up. My TV like froze. These TVs are basically computers now, right? So here we go. Should be good now. It's really cool. I can put whatever image back there, right? Pretty neat. There we go. Okay, now we're rocking. Now we're rocking. Hey, Tom Peterson, Carolina Cigars is in the house. Tom, what's up, man? Yeah, you guys stay tuned. We got some big plans in the works, things we are working on behind the scenes as Tom tunes in. As you guys all know, I'm a big cigar guy. I'm a very big cigar guy. I love having a stogie every now and then, and it's something that definitely that's over the last year. I've really gotten even more into cigars and the act of smoking a stogie and kind of look at it as a gentleman's treat, if you will. So, Tom, thank you for tuning in, sir. Appreciate the love, appreciate the support, and very, very excited for some things that we are working on behind the scenes, Tom and I. Also, of course, guys, today, around 12:15 or so, my good friend Alex McGrath will join the show. We'll talk about everything that happened over the weekend against Kentucky. And we're taking your questions, comments, calls, man, kind of everything in between. Before we really get rolling, of course, as always, the Daily Crow brought to you by our friends over at Prize Picks. Go download the Prize Picks app, go to prizepicks.com. When you do, use that promo code TSUS. You're going to receive a 100% deposit match up to $100. And guys, we know you're betting on spreads, totals, futures, all that good stuff. Why not play these prop plays? You can ask so many of those who have already made so much money with our friends over at Prize Picks. You can bet on everything from college sports, NFL, MLB, NHL, NBA. This is a great time, by the way, to get in on Prize Picks because I think NBA is either started or about to start. NHL, I think, starts tonight, maybe. You guys, maybe if there's any hockey fans in here, y'all can correct me. MLB playoffs really get going today. Braves play at 1 o'clock, by the way. We'll be live while they're playing. And of course, we're in the middle of college football season, the NFL, all that good stuff. So really exciting stuff. Our friends at Prize Picks, go download the app or go to prizepicks.com. And when you sign up, use the promo code TSUS. You're going to receive a 100% deposit match up to $100. Be sure to check them out and tell them that Chris from the Spurs Up Show sends you. Let's break the bookie this football season. Lance will most certainly be on the lattes for Texas A&M. There's no doubt. There's no question. Guys, something I'm so excited about, by the way, because, of course, again, we're going to get Alex McGrath on. We're going to talk ball. We're going to talk Kentucky, all that good stuff. How about Rebecca with the super chat? Rebecca, now we got to get to work on that shirt now. Rebecca with the super chat. What is up? What is up? Rebecca, appreciate it. Thank you. To heck with Tennessee Vols t-shirt. I love that. I got you. I got you. How about this, Rebecca? It's just going to be text. It's going to say, to heck with Tennessee. Is that fair? It's just going to be text, but I can get it made for you. I can get it made for you. So, let's see. Hunter Herlong, do you have Clemson fans in your family? Shit on them like I did and schedule a wedding on Carolina's bye week. Hunter, I'll keep that in mind, my guy, for whenever my wedding will take place. I will be sure to let you all know when a Miss TSUS is found and we schedule a wedding. You will know. You guys will be the first to know. Okay, hockey season does start tonight. NBA starts a week from today. Great time for sports fans. It's a great time. Great time. Ronnie Pace, Chris, does the site offer that shirt you're wearing in a hoodie? Yes. I don't know that we have this in garnet in a hoodie because the colors are kind of weird. Garnet's a tough color when it comes to merchandise and really everything. But yes, this logo is in a hoodie. Yes, this logo right here, it is in a hoodie. Yes. Also, if you go to tsus.store, I added a lot of new long sleeve t-shirts last night. We've got the hoodies, we've got the pullovers, and we got it in Beamer Ball, Beamer Rattler, Clem Sucks, everything you could think of, everything you can need. We've also got the new beanies on the store as well. So there you go. DGD, do you think the roughing the passer penalties from this weekend in the NFL trickles into college football? I sure as hell hope not, man. Good God. Those calls were, I mean, you might as well just make it two-hand touch. Truly. Just make it two-hand touch. If it's going to be to that level, one of my best friends is a Falcons fan, and he was at the game in Tampa, and he was furious, to say the least. So, and I mean, why not, dude? It's just ridiculous. Like, you can't even touch the quarterback. You can't even touch the quarterback anymore. I don't understand it. John Edwards says, here for the first hour, then at 1, going to hop on over and listen to NLDS Game 1 between Philly and Atlanta. Go Braves. Hey, John, don't blame me. If you want to keep us on in the background, we'll be here. But I would imagine you're probably at work and you're tuning on the phone and all that good stuff. But, yeah, Braves do play at 1 o'clock. I thought about maybe, like, moving this around but what I don't know. I just thought, you know what? Let's just rock as normal. I mean, this is game 1. It's you know, we'll catch some of the game. I'm actually got an interview at 2:30 and got to record tomorrow's show. I might not even really watch game 1. Braves have got it in the bag. They got the Phillies. Who gives a damn? Phillies, light work. Let's see. Travis Allen, Chris, I hope we don't take the Kentucky win with a false sense of security. Big W for us, but I guarantee you A&M will come to Williams-Brice ready to play. Oh, yeah, dude, it's a massive game for A&M. Huge game. So, no, I don't think we will. I don't think that I'd be stunned, Travis, if we came into that Texas A&M game with the big head. Or I don't see that being a problem. I really don't. And I'd say this too, Travis, like, in your scenario, you're basically insinuating that we could possibly come in and not be fired up, ready to play. And, dude, night game under the lights at Willie B. It'll be a sold-out crowd, raucous environment. Folks like my good friends John Rice and Lance will be heavy on the lattes. Gamecock Nation will be heavy on the lattes. I don't think you have to have – I don't think you got to worry at all about this team and this fan base being fired up, ready to go. And especially A&M, a team that you've never beaten, I don't see that being an issue. I don't at all. So still a lot to prove for this team. Yeah, and I think they'll play that way. Justin Housen, what's up, man? What's up? Great day to have a cat pack. Yeah, glad you're feeling better. Lance says, I'm going to be trashy by kickoff. Let's go. As the day progresses, right, the lattes will sway the prediction. I don't know what I'm picking for that game. I mean, I haven't even really started to think about it or look into that game, or you know, we'll spend all next week talking about that game, right? So that there's not a lot that I can say about it to this point. I mean, I've watched Texas A&M. We know they've got talent, but they've been very inconsistent. Quarterback play is an issue for them with Haynes King. I don't think he's anything special. I think most of us feel like he's not anything special. So it's as good a chance you've had to beat A&M in quite some time. I would say. I can't think back to many other games where you had a better opportunity. I'll be really curious to see, with South Carolina having the home field advantage, I wonder how Vegas is going to evaluate this one. You know what I mean? I wonder how Vegas will evaluate it. I don't know. Wouldn't be surprised if it's like a pick 'em. Would not be surprised. Would not be surprised. Let's see. Justin says 34-27, Carolina shot called. Here, let me get this link over to Alex McGrath. By the way, guys, some news for you all regarding the Daily Crow, and don't fear. Nothing's changing. Nothing's, at least in regards to the show, or, my guy P-Dawk was freaking out over the weekend. He thought, oh my God, TDC's going away. It's like, no, it's not. It's not. So obviously the Daily Crow has its own podcast feed. And I know there's many of you that either only catch parts of this show or can't tune in 12 to 2 or what have you. And the Daily Crow right now has its own podcast feed. And this is something, I continue to grow and evolve as an entrepreneur in the way we do business. And again, these are champagne problems, guys, and they're great. I can't even call them problems. They're just the evolution, the inevitable evolution, and the way that we do things. And I always give myself the freedom to change my mind, right? Changing your mind is a superpower. Anyways, though, I feel like sometimes I can get almost caught up in the idea of we got to expand, we got to keep going out. Where it's like you can still expand while also being efficient and streamlining things. Like efficiency is probably the number one thing that I value in my business life at this point. So with that being said, the Spurs Up Show, the podcast, is on its own feed. I created a separate feed for the Daily Crow. Getting folks to subscribe to a second feed, believe it or not, is much tougher than you would think. And we are now making real paper. We are really monetizing the podcast. You guys hear all these big time ad reads. I think Tito's Vodka right now is the ad read on the podcast, which is pretty dope, pretty wild. So all that being said, from now on, you guys, probably most all of you, if not all of you, are in here, are subscribed to the Spurs Up Show, the podcast, right, on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts. You will now start seeing the Daily Crow released on that podcast feed. And it will say the Daily Crow and the date. But it just makes more sense in my mind. So, hey, now you're going to have something dropping every single day. Every single day, there's going to be new content, right? There's going to be something to listen to, tune into. It'll still drop at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. But I feel like streamlining that. Rebecca. Thank you for the soda, Rebecca. See it, Rebecca. Thank you. Thank you for the super chat. Rebecca, you're way too kind. You're way too kind. But anyways, everything will now be streamlined. So this podcast will be under that TSUS, that Spurs Up Show RSS feed. I just felt like, the idea was nice, but why not just condense it, right? There's no point in having a bunch of different feeds and it gets confusing and then getting people to go subscribe to the feed. Just have it all under one. Just have it all in one. It's going to still provide the same value. And it's honestly, guys, going to help the business because the opportunity to already tap into our large subscriber base for the podcast, right? Why wouldn't we do that? And especially because we're monetizing to our friends over at Blue Wire who are giving us national partnerships or national ad reads, if you will, with national brands. So, guys, really excited. Of course, we chat with him. I'm going to go ahead and close up the phone lines because we do have our Tuesday guest in here. We chat with him every single Tuesday. Very excited to chat. Former Gamecocks football player Alex McGrath gives his thoughts on Carolina's win over Kentucky and everything else in between. Alex, what's up, man? How are you?
I'm doing great, buddy. How are you?
I am doing well, my friend. Just enjoying the week, enjoying the weather in Greenville. My Greenville brethren got out and about yesterday and kind of saw some sights and sounds and places, if you will, at Greenville. So enjoying the city, my friend. And obviously everybody's in a better mood when you win, right? Everybody's in a
Well, of course. I mean, be a top 15 team on the road, things are rosy again.
Yeah. Wake up
Also,
and
I
smell the
know
roses.
I know it's your first year here in the upstate, but you got to check out Fall for Greenville this weekend because it's a big time.
That's what I've heard. Yeah, I've heard Fall for Greenville. Is it just like this one weekend thing? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Is it Friday through Sunday, or is it just Saturday?
It actually starts. I think it starts Thursday at 5, or maybe a little earlier than that. So it's the whole weekend.
I was about to say I could literally probably just Google this instead of I sometimes people do that. I'm like, just Google it. I don't know if you know. There's a website. This is so random. There's a website called Let Me Google That For You. And so if somebody asks you like just a basic question that they could easily just go search, it's called letmegooglethatforyou.com, and you type in the question and you click search and it gives you a link, and you like text the person or send the person the link, right? So you respond to their question with this link and they click on it and it goes to Google and it types in the question they asked you and it clicks search and it says, "See, was that so hard?" And then it just goes to Google. So if you really just want to be, if you want to be a jerk to
troll link I think I've ever heard.
Right. I know it sounds like a lot of effort, but it's really not. So if you want to just be like, you want to play you kind of want to be you troll your buddies in the office or whatever. If they ask you a question via email, just send the link back, and they're like, "Really?" Like, "Yep, you could have just Googled it." Yeah, you're right. It does start Thursday. I'll definitely have to go then. Maybe Friday we'll get out there. Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun. Anyways, Alex, again, appreciate you taking the time, man. It's always a pleasure. Obviously, the topic of conversation today, taking down Kentucky, man. Big win, and some arguing maybe the signature win for Shane Beamer early in his tenure. No matter how you want to slice it or how you want to label it, it's a huge win. We'll start offensively, of course. Slow start, 90 yards of offense in the first half. Second half adjustments made, and an explosion, really, I think, in the second half. Spencer Rattler looked much sharper, much better. Your playmakers, you finally get it in their hands. They're making plays for you. Marshawn Lloyd, I think, is an absolute freak at this point. I would say the reverse play to Jalen Brooks was probably the play call of the season thus far, in my mind, at least my favorite play call. Just talked about what you saw from the Gamecocks offensively. And, I asked Garcia this. I'll ask you this as well. Were there any noticeable adjustments for you watching the game that you noticed from the first half to the second half?
Not really. I mean, it was like the first half was kind of like we had just what was it, 3 drives that just kind of ended in dumpster fires,
right.
Where like you have the fumble in the red zone, throw the pick towards the end of the second quarter, like so it appeared as though we were moving the ball effectively, and then just got clogged up as soon as we got on the other side of the field, because I think we got 4 possessions on the Kentucky side of the field that ended in 0 points. So, I mean, that obviously got cleaned up in the second half, but I think the plays were certainly there in the first half. They just weren't made.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think the execution certainly was better, but, I don't know. It looks so much more crisp. What a start to the game, by the way. The first play. And I really felt like, Alex, after that, I was like, for a Kentucky team that prides themselves on physicality and toughness and punching you in the face and what they've done to Carolina over the last, on their winning trend against the Gamecocks, if you will, that play told me Kentucky's on their heels. Like Kentucky doesn't trust the quarterback, which, I mean, I guess I can't blame him. The guy had never thrown a college pass, but like for Kentucky to come out with that finesse, that gimmicky type play call to open it. Now, of course, the Gamecocks take advantage, and that helped your feelings early on. I felt pretty good about the game from that point. I really did. That was the quick start I think we were all looking for.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, no, get a turnover in the red zone, first play of the game. Yeah, that's. I had one of my buddies texted me like after that happened. He was like, "That's the most Gamecockiest start I've ever seen for an opposing team."
Yeah, that's normally,
I was like,
normally something we're doing. Yeah, that's kind of, it feels like that's normally something we're doing.
You try to reinvent the wheel on offense and something goes horribly wrong, and then all of a sudden you're down 7-0.
Yeah. Alex, we were really critical and tough on the offensive line early in the season. I still don't think they're elite, obviously, but have improved, I think, much since that first game. Your thoughts on the O-line? Again, Marshawn Lloyd runs for 110 yards or so. I mean, you outrushed Kentucky. If you would have told me that before the game, I would have, number one, said we won. You know what I mean? Number two, I would have doubted you. Thoughts on the offensive line? Wasn't perfect, I think, to the 4th and 2, and watching that live, I'm thinking, God, you can't get 6 feet. What does that say? But either way, I thought the
All right.
offensive line played much better.
We can have a separate discussion about that 4th and 2 call, about why you're running that out of the shotgun.
Dude, that's college football now, though. That's college football. That's what teams do. Spurrier did that.
I know.
At the end, I'll never forget. The play call with Spurrier, I will never forget, was 2013 Georgia. 2013 Georgia with Connor Shaw, Mike Davis to his right, 4th and goal from the 1, and they run out of the shotgun, and they run that speed option thing. And I'm just like, why? Like, why?
Well, see, like, I would have preferred a speed option there, to be completely honest with you. But, like, the thing is like, I've seen us line up under center. So I know we can do it. And I hate that call on 4th and 2 where you run it out of the gun. Neither here nor there. I think, honestly, like, since week 1, I think the offensive line is the most improved part of this team. Like, they've done an unbelievable job. I don't know what they've adjusted, but they've been remarkably better over the last 5 weeks than they were against Georgia State. So credit to them, credit to the O-line coaches and the scheme getting that back together.
I thought Spencer Rattler, too, Alex, looked as comfortable as he's looked all season in that second half. I really did. And again, maybe that's because of improved offensive line play or because of what they were calling. Or I thought under center, he looked really comfortable. And, hey, a run game also helps, right? When you have some sort of run game, it helps your quarterback out. But I thought that was as comfortable as he's looked all year, which is crazy because in that first half, if you look on social media, Alex, let me ask you this. Do you peruse Twitter a whole lot during the games? Are you, like, keeping up with the game?
I try not to.
Okay. Probably a smart idea. Because that first half was a shit show. And, you had people left and right calling for Spencer Rattler to be benched. He's no good. And listen, I'm not saying he played perfect by any stretch. And you're in that position. He deserves all the critique. But I did think, again, in that second half, I don't have the exact stats pulled up, but went 8 for 10 passing, led 3 70-plus yard scoring drives. Again, that's as good as I think we've seen him look against quality competition thus far.
Yeah, no, certainly. I thought he played – truthfully, I thought he played really well at Arkansas as well. So I think he stepped his game up in the second half. And, unlike the game at Arkansas where you didn't have any kind of rushing attack to speak of, you did this week, and you were able to kind of push Kentucky around at the line of scrimmage and spring Marshawn Lloyd on a bunch of runs, which just ultimately opens up everything else. So you're not having that pressure on top of him. And, it looked more fluid in the second half. Again, I think the first half it was serviceable. We just shot ourselves in the foot once we got to the other side of the 50 4 separate times. But that stuff didn't happen in the second half, and I think that's where the big difference came from.
Alex, I used the word intoxicating to describe watching Marshawn Lloyd run the football. And I tell you, watching him, going back and even watching the highlights, watching it real time, he looks so, at least Saturday night, he looks so effortlessly fast. Like, he's just fast. You know what I mean? Like, he's not trying to be fast. He just is fast. 22 carries for him on the night, had a couple catches out of the backfield. I think that kind of has to be the norm for him going forward, right? Like, he's got to be, I think, the focal point of the offense.
Yeah, I think so. It's going to depend week to week because, as you kind of progress into the season where I think you're going to have the most success with a rushing first attack is going to be against, probably Vandy, probably Mizzou, probably who could say what Florida is, but probably like most likely Florida. Tennessee looks like world beaters at the moment. We'll see how they do this weekend. But I think that's got to be your focus point of attack because that's, going back to what Satterfield said weeks ago, where that's where he wants the focus of the offense to be is running the football. Like, if that's the case, anytime you're able to successfully run the ball like that, it's just going to open everything else up. And if that's what we got to do, that's what we got to do. I don't necessarily agree with that, but, if that's what we're going to do, that's what we're going to do.
Defensively, Alex, what a night. Gamecocks defensive line with 6 sacks. Chris Rodriguez got his, but you hold him in check for the most part, and I thought you really brought the pressure on a young, inexperienced Kentucky quarterback. Will Levis being out, that it changed the game, certainly. But, we'll get to this more in a second. But I don't look at that game and say, well, Kentucky definitely wins if he plays. Like, Carolina dominated the line of scrimmage. That was the story of the game. And you look on the defensive side, Alex, that felt like one of those vintage performances, like when you were in Columbia, and then as the Spurrier years progressed, and what Brad Lawing did at his time, obviously friend of the show, good friend of mine, and those defensive lines, how they would take over ball games. It reminded me of one of those vintage performances up front. Just talk about what you saw from the defense. And again, we clamored forever, right? When's this defensive line gonna live up to the hype? When are guys like Jordan Birch and Zach Pickens and Tonka Hemingway and these other guys, when are they going to kind of have that breakout game and play the way that we all felt they were capable? That game was Saturday night, man. That was a lot of fun to watch.
No, that was awesome. It was good to see them break out and have that kind of performance, especially against a quality opponent. Now, are you being more aggressive on defense because who is taking snaps in that game? I mean, certainly you're going to make the kid that's never thrown a pass in college beat you over the top, and he wasn't able to do that, so that freed them up to be as aggressive as they wanted to be, and you saw the result. Like, I mean, it's both exciting and frustrating because you have those players, and you're kind of like, well, why haven't we just done that the entire time? But like getting that's definitely a step in the right direction. And that's what you wanted to see from those guys, because they can produce. It's just being able to put them in that position to make that happen. And you kind of had that perfect storm against Kentucky where Levis isn't going to play, which means you can be infinitely more aggressive on that defensive front. So,
yeah, I think you saw it too, man. That was a lot of fun to watch. Alex, I'll ask you this, switching gears a little bit. Do you interact with a lot of Clemson folks and talk ball like because obviously we're both in Greenville. Is that something on a daily basis? You talk ball with Clemson buddies?
Not
or
really.
like Clemson people? Because I just, I'm seeing, I can't help it. I'm seeing the guys in the chat are just one of the slap dicks in the chat. And we've seen it all over social media talk about the what ifs and if Levis had played and if this and if that. I'm sure you saw the clip that I posted on social media yesterday. You can play the if game all you want, but the bottom line is he didn't play. And Carolina took their best 22 available. And Kentucky took their best 22 available, and Carolina won the football game. And really, I don't care about any commentary beyond that. There's literally no point. What do you want to do, go on NCAA football and simulate if Will Levis was healthy, what would have happened? I mean, there's just no point. There's no point in it, man.
We'll see, but if they win on the NCAA football rematch, it's a half win for us and a half win for Kentucky. So I can completely understand where they're coming from.
And it's funny, too, for Clemson folk to play the hypothetical with their schedule. And it's like, well, what if you were in the SEC and went 8-4 every year like you inevitably would do? Like, why are we going to play these games? Why are we going to – let's not play these games. You don't want to go down that path, I don't think. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, I mean, you can't have your rival be successful. That's absurd.
Indeed.
So, it's, congratulations, but you beat the JV squad. Well, okay, fine.
Well, you know what? A dub's a dub, and Carolina still sits here 4-2 either way. I don't care how you slice it. Beamer ball, man. Another blocked punt. And we talked about in the preseason, Alex, for a team like South Carolina that is looking for, whatever advantage it can get, and, you're going to come into some of these games as the underdog, if you will. To be able to do what they're doing on special teams it's incredible. I mean, it's a game changer, and it's something that we need to probably even still pay more attention to. 5 block punts at the halfway point. I mean, it really is Beamer ball in Columbia.
It's really impressive, and you would think, like, given that statistic, that opposing counsel would work way more feverishly on special teams the week of our game, but nobody seems to want to do that. So here we are, 5 block punts in 6 games.
Dude, you love to see it, and you just hope that can continue, obviously. Back to the offensive side, Alex, because I'm not going to sit here, obviously, and pretend like it's all sunshine and rainbows. There's still, I think, a lot left to be desired on the offensive side, especially when you factor in that first half performance. And, Alex, this game against Kentucky, it actually kind of reminded me of the Arkansas game in the sense of where, we had a second half surge against Arkansas, and, I know you didn't have the turnovers like you had in that game, but the difference was Kentucky wasn't able to get up on you 21-3 and kind of make you pay for the slow start, if you will, on that side. So things you want to see. Obviously, you go into the bye week, and I want to get more of your thoughts on that in a second, but things you want to see moving forward for the second half of the season. Obviously, Monday's show, next Monday, the podcast, I'll be dropping my mid-season grades and grading everything. And, I'm not going to front and sit here and say that the grade for the offense is going to be all that great, right? Overall, I think when you look at it, it fell short of expectation. I think that'd be fair to say. So what do you want to see from the offense as we move forward, and what you want to see them focus on in the second half of the season?
So there was a I don't remember, it may have been in the second quarter, but Jordan Rodgers was comparing like what Spencer was running at Oklahoma to what he's running now, and gave out like the play call, or like an example of a play call that we have that was minimum 2 sentences, where, at Oklahoma it would have been like red, right, something or other. And now we've got like a 2-sentence play call. I just want to see that simplified. I want to see it simplified to where you're putting do exactly what you did in the second half. Simplify it down, put the ball in your best player's hands as frequently as you possibly can, and please, for the love of God, start taking deep shots. That's all I want.
I don't think we can throw it downfield enough, to be honest with you, Alex, to like appease my appetite or your appetite, or really anybody's for that matter. Let's just go twice a game. Go 4 verts. Let's go 4 verts every play. I'm game with it.
I mean, I don't dislike our odds in that scenario.
Yeah. Why not? Well,
I mean, like, in all seriousness, like, I mean, I don't know. It was great to see Josh. Honestly, like, from a progression standpoint, like, it was really nice to see Spencer step up in the pocket and throw those underneath balls where Josh Vann was on those crossers, where it's not like panic. All right, I'm just going to take off. Like, being able to find that guy coming across the middle is big in that progression standpoint. Right. That being said, I still love to see it simplified down and take some deep shots, which we try. I guess we tried to do to Stogner, but
yeah, and Rattler made the point that he underthrew that ball, which I think is kind of a no-duh statement, but whatever, it is what it is. What if, Alex? Let me pose this to you. What if I told you, because this is the word on the street, what if I told you that there was a different voice calling the plays in the second half of that Kentucky game?
I would 100% buy that.
That's what the word on the street seems to be. I'm not trying to start rumors, but it seems like there is a belief that somebody else was behind the wheel. Let's just put it that way. So I don't think, obviously, listen, and I think we could probably all sit here and agree. You take your bias out and you just look at Carolina and you look at the scheme and you look at the game, and they're probably still at the end of the season, barring some breakout in the second half. I'd probably say there still needs to be a change at OC. But if there's going to be one right now, or if there's going to be a change of the play calling duties, we're not going to know about it. The only thing we're going to know is if the results change, which they did in the second half. But I think obviously Shane Beamer understands, man. I mean, it's a kind of a no-duh statement, but he understands that, the offense has got to pick it up, right? They got to pick it up. They got to pick up the slack, because the second half was impressive, but it looked completely different. You know what I mean? It looked completely different.
Yeah, I mean, the flow of it was different. I mean, because, and I know we've talked about this before, but it's not like the plays that we're running are very similar to the plays that everybody else is running. Like, you're trying to run crossing routes, you're trying to run combo routes to make sure that, like, if somebody gives you, like, if somebody's trying to disguise coverage and it looks like it's 2, but then it turns into 3, like, you've got options on both sides of the field. Like, this is for 2, this is for 3. You want to run the verticals, you want to put people in bad positions where you can pick that off. Like that, like, everybody on the planet who is playing college football has those plays on the books. The talent for an offensive coordinator comes in. When do you call that? How do you shift to get your advantage? Like, what are you looking at from a probability standpoint to put those guys in the best possible position for this play to work? So, like, the offensive design or the philosophy of it could be the greatest thing this side of the Mississippi. But, like, if the guy that's calling those plays is calling them at the wrong times, it's not going to work. And that was, like, that was Spurrier's attribute. Like I really can't describe. Like that guy stood on the sidelines and called almost every offensive play and could like just stand there, like 10 yards behind the offense and look at it, like not staring like from above, like looking just behind the offense. It could make any adjustment he needed to make to that. Like there is a skill to that in being able to know how to put your guys in those positions to be successful. So if it takes input from somebody else who has, the better situational awareness on when to call those things, like get it going, because it worked in the second half.
Indeed. Hey, Alex, Shane Beamer in the postgame. It's interesting. Last week, I had folks tell me I reposted the clip and the quote from Stoops over the preseason over SEC Media Days about the culture climate comments and he obviously tried to save face and say it wasn't about South Carolina. And Shane Beamer gave the politically correct answer about we're just worried about us and people were telling me last week, oh, just let it go. It wasn't about Carolina. Why are you even bringing this up? Yeah, obviously they took it pretty personally. And I think it was an even bigger part of the game than we realized, because when you see in the post game, Shane Beamer's reaction after the game on the field with the fan base going crazy, in the locker room pulling the shades out, doing the dance, and then they had T-shirts ready to go in the post game. So yeah, those comments, they took that shit personally. Alex, your thoughts on just the role that played in the game, and then of course Shane Beamer's reaction and the sunglasses and all the post game fireworks, if you will.
I mean, I laughed. I thought it was funny. It was certainly he kept the receipts, as the youths would say. I'm glad we won, so they didn't have those T-shirts printed up erroneously.
Some kids in like Africa would have been wearing culture over climate T-shirts. But, they shipped the Super Bowl T-shirt, the losing team. But like, what would they have done with 80, 90 T-shirts? Like just shipped them off.
I don't know. I kind of wish he'd worn the glasses in the post-game presser, though.
That would have been the ultimate troll move.
Just taking questions from the media and those like ridiculous ski goggle looking things. That would have been spectacular.
Even so, just doing it in the locker room, the ultimate. I don't think there will be a coach that trolls an opponent more than Beamer did. I don't see that happen.
Perhaps not.
That was the ultimate troll job. It really was.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, listen, Stoops deserved it.
He did, and I think here's the thing too. It's not even like Stoops has to understand, because I'm sure those guys are going to have still a mutual respect. They're going to see each other at media days. They're going to shake hands at SEC meetings and all that stuff. And it's like, if I'm Beamer, I'm telling Stoops, like, listen, you gave me free ammo. It ain't nothing personal, but I'm going to use it to fire my guys up. You would do the same if the roles were reversed. So let's just agree to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I assure you, like, that's why he tried to walk the comment back initially, right? Like, I'm sure, like, as soon as it came out of his mouth, he was probably like, shouldn't have said that. And then, but you did. And so, like, you got to take the L and just be like, you know what? I did that. That's on me.
Hold the L, as the youths would say.
As the youth would say, yes.
I love it. Alex acting like he's like 60 over here. Come on, my guy. Come on, my guy. Jeez, only played two coaches ago. It wasn't that long ago.
It was longer ago than I'm comfortable with, as I'm approaching being 2 decades older than college freshman right now.
And it's not getting shorter. That's the problem. It's not getting shorter. It's only getting longer.
It is. Doesn't go backwards, but that's all right.
It does not go backwards, indeed. On that note, though, Alex, a little bit more of a serious note, the role that played in this game, what I loved the most from, because, we could sit here and break it down all deep, the X's and O's and what worked and what happened. But what I loved and took away from that win over Kentucky was just the tenacity, the energy, the confidence, the swagger this team played, the way they attacked this game. And it feels so often, right, that, and we've seen it early in the season, it feels like the opponent is the one sort of setting the tone and we're just kind of reacting and on our heels. I really felt like, and certainly obviously it helps, right, when you force a fumble in the first play and you recover it. But it just felt like we were the enforcer. We were the tone setter. We were dictating the flow of this game and playing with a tenacity and an energy and a get after it that I had not seen yet this season. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, but again, like that's all you want to see from a younger team is just being able to build that confidence up and being like because our road woes were not a mystery to anyone, especially against ranked opponents, and being able to go in there and push somebody around that's a top 15 team, like the confidence that builds, like the defensive line getting in there. What do we have, 6 sacks?
6 sacks, yeah.
Yeah,
Held
6 sacks.
Kentucky to
Like
3.4 yards per carry, which I will take that in a heartbeat. I'm all for that.
Oh, for sure. And then the emergence of Marshawn Lloyd over the last 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can see where that confidence continues to build and build and build, and that's going to carry over for the rest of the season. And you got 2 weeks to prepare for a reeling A&M team, where you win that game, you're sitting there at 5-2. Whole season's open to you now.
Isn't it crazy, Alex, how the highs are so high and the lows are so low, and this time last week, just a week ago, there were people realistically like on social media and I'll even admit myself in the sense of like I wasn't buying the whole like we're gonna go 4-8, this is just the Beamer era, this like some of the commentary I saw, but the energy was a lot different and you could feel it. You could feel it, right? You can feel the energy. And it's crazy how just one win, one game can change all of that. And it's why I labeled that Kentucky game as the inflection point. It was one that, I think this football team needed for sure, but almost more the fan base needed. I mean, the fan base just needed that shot in the arm and needed that positive thing to hang their hat on and that thing that gives you hope now for the second half of the season. Because like you mentioned, we're going from folks talking about, God, we'll be lucky to go 5-7 to folks are talking about, man, we could start 7-2. Like, isn't it crazy how one win can change all that? And I know that the reason that you and I get along so well, and I mean, anybody that follows my content knows this, I try to stay in the middle, right? Avoid the highest of highs and the lowest of lows and stay even keeled. And so I think really the takeaway, Alex, is we're probably on pace for where we were going to finish all along, which is what most national pundits said, which is 7-5. Like we're kind of, it's like Alabama and Georgia are elite, even though they both have their own deficiencies, right? They're both elite though. Then it's like, who's the third best team in the SEC? I think Tennessee is certainly making their case for that. They might be the second best if they can do something crazy this weekend, but they're making their case for that. But, Alex, I think the thing that is the reality and also gives you hope for the rest of this season, Texas A&M, Mizzou, Vandy, Florida, all these teams outside the top three, they're all just as flawed and inconsistent as South Carolina is. And it's like any of these teams can win on any given Saturday. And so that gives me optimism and hope that, right, you're not just going to lose them all. You're probably not going to win them all, but you're not going to lose them all either. You know what I mean? Like, I just and it gives you, again, it's just crazy though how it can change, how the complexion of your season, it can just change like that.
Yeah, look no further than Arkansas,
dude. Yeah, like from the penthouse to the hog house. Actually, we'll just say, I don't know.
It's gone a little sideways for
you
them.
got Arkansas fans on Twitter calling for Sam Pittman's job. I mean, just the dumbest, most ridiculous thing I've ever seen.
That's why you always got to remember the internet is permanent.
It is.
So, yeah, I mean, you're 100% right. Like, you've got those two top level. You got Georgia and Bama, and if Bryce Young's not playing for Bama is not like Bama of old, right? Tennessee looks like they have turned a corner, and like honestly, watching them play, like that's what I wish we would do on offense. Just step back and heave it to your talented playmakers.
They're fun to watch. Do you realize they're number one in the country in offense? That's where like I understand folks' frustrations with our offense, where it's like Heupel and Beamer started at the same time, And Tennessee, the year before Heupel got there, they were like 106th in offense, and all of a sudden they're number one. Like, I mean, it's like, what are they doing that we're not? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's wild.
Yeah,
to
but
say the least.
on the flip side of that, they are not world beaters on defense either.
No, they're
So
not.
you
They're
can
not.
score points on Tennessee. They're just going to score a lot of points on you. So it's like so when you play somebody like that, it's just like how aggressive are you going to be on this front to combat that? You know, you look at the rest of them that are on. You look at the rest of them on schedule. It's like almost everything is toss-ups except for that one. From the SEC perspective, obviously Clemson seems to have found their stride here recently, which is
Unfortunate.
disappointing.
Yeah.
But you know, that's just where we are.
Alex, I appreciate you taking the time, man. It's always a pleasure to chat with you. I'll save the Texas A&M banter and conversation for next week because obviously we're going to spend the entire week talking the Aggies and the importance of that game. And hey, as you keep winning, right, you've won 3 in a row, they get bigger and bigger and bigger and more important, and more is on the line. And certainly a night game at Williams-Brice Stadium. It's going to be rocking, going to be, I think, probably your best opportunity to beat Texas A&M. I can't wait, Alex, to see what Vegas has to say about that game. Last thing before I let you go, though, Alex, going into a bye week, just overall what this football team, what good can come out of the bye week for this football team as they go into the second half of the season?
Definitely, number one is getting your guys rest and getting everybody that's banged up on better footing from a physical standpoint. And two, the other biggest piece of that is self-scouting. Like learn what you like, go back, watch the first 6 games, learn your tendencies and try to figure out a way to get away from that tendency as you go into the second half of the season and be able to look at it, tweak things, install things you haven't put in yet, and take new cards into the latter half of the season.
Fair enough. Alex McGrath, as always, every single Tuesday. Alex, I appreciate you taking the time, man. Always a pleasure, and I'm sure we'll get up here soon. So appreciate you, my man.
Absolutely, buddy.
Yeah, man. Take care. Alex McGrath, appreciate him as always, taking the time. Always love our conversation. Very valuable conversation. And Alex, someone I'm blessed to call a friend and always enjoy talking ball with. So, guys, we are rocking. We are rolling here on this Tuesday on the other side. And for the rest of the show, we will take your questions, your comments, your calls, and more. On the other side, you're tuned in to the Daily Crow. All right, guys, we're back. Taking your questions, comments, calls. 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377 here on this Tuesday. Phone lines are officially back open. I want to say thank you again to our good friend Alex McGrath for taking the time to chat here on this Tuesday. By the way, guys, posted about it this morning, but Big Cock Club Hangout tonight. You guys obviously see every single day the ad go across the screen during our breaks for the Big Cock Club. We have an exclusive Discord that we're up to about 60 members of or so. I'll be doing a hangout in there tonight. So really what it is, it's a lot like this, but I would say even more casual, where I'll be talking about stuff like business and just kind of shooting it, if you will, and just talking whatever we want to talk about, just kind of hanging out, chatting, whatever. We're going to do that at 8 o'clock tonight. So if you want to join the Big Cock Club, patreon.com/Big Cock Club, and you can find the link to the Discord there. We've also got exclusive merchandise, just an exclusive community for supporters of the Spurs Up Show, of the Daily Crow. Gives you guys an opportunity to be part of a special community, if you will. So again, that'll be 8 o'clock tonight, and that's something I'm planning on doing on a weekly basis. Should be a lot of fun. Wyatt Williams asked, where did you get the hat? The old USC logo was too icy. My good friend Gray with Soda City Thrifts, man. I got this a little bit ago. I got this like 3 years ago, actually. Soda City Thrifts. My guy just had it, and I think I got it for the low too, man. I got it for like $20 or something like that. Anyways. Also, guys, really exciting stuff. A month from today, this is sort of random that I remember this, but a month from today will be the 4-year anniversary of us getting the LLC for TSUS. So making it officially official. So pretty cool stuff. We'll touch on that more when we actually get to that date next month. But pretty neat. Yep, when the Spurs Up Show officially became a business, if you will. So, Justin, if you were offered $1 million to speculate on who called the second half, whose name you dropping? I mean, Justin, I'll speculate on it. Do it. Freddie Kitchens. Bree, what's going on? How are you?
Go ahead and answer your question. There you go. I'm good. How are you? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm doing well. What's going on?
Okay. Man, I just calling in. What I hear, the talk about Tennessee, and I haven't gotten to Tennessee breakdown. I haven't gotten to Clemson breakdown. Those are the end of the year. I got a lot more in between, obviously. I know you're talking about A&M next week, but I've got a little bit more of a breakdown. Like I told you, I think A&M is very similar to Kentucky anyway. But even past that, and I know I'm in the going ahead phase. I've been kind of going ahead. But hell, we got a bye week. What else we're going to talk about? Mizzou's the tricky team, man. I'm going to tell you, I'm a little worried about our Mizzou matchup because they're up front is where they're strong. I've watched them even more since I called in yesterday. And it's their D-line and their linebackers up front as far as defensive play. It's like an opposite of what we're going to see, what we saw against Kentucky, what we're probably going to basically see against A&M, where they're a little weaker up front, but their DBs are good and they're fast, and it's hard to get to the perimeter sometimes against those guys. Mizzou's going to be the opposite, man. They're going to be very strong up front and have weak DBs. I think we're going to really see Spencer shine against Mizzou because of that reason. And our O-line is going to have to play really well. I think they're going to get tested again come Mizzou.
Yeah, I mean, I would say, Bree, you make a good point about Missouri. And I mean, I'll be honest again, I haven't looked a ton at them. And I watched them against Georgia, and I watched a little bit of them against Auburn. But no, kind of like I was talking about with Alex McGrath. I think Bama and Georgia, while they do have some flaws, that they are by far they are the elites of the SEC. Tennessee, I think, no question, as at minimum the third best team in the SEC, and you never know if they take down Alabama or, they still play Georgia. I mean, those are the top three, though. But outside of that, I mean, like I said, I look at the rest of our schedule, Texas A&M, Missouri, Vanderbilt, Florida, those teams, especially those 4 games, those are all truly the definition of toss-ups. I mean, those are all games that I think they're all going to be close games. They're all going to be four-quarter battles, if you will, and those teams are all just as inconsistent, as just as flawed as we are. So, which I don't say that like a negative. I just mean that, they're imperfect teams like us, and so they're going to be truly toss-ups. So that it makes me cautious, but it also makes me optimistic. We could lose all four. We could win all four. I don't think that'll probably be the case. I think most likely we'll split, but if you can go 3-1, obviously that's the ideal situation. But yeah, and I mean, I'm not writing off Tennessee and Clemson as like guaranteed losses, but you would definitely lean towards the L column when you look at those two games right now.
Right now, yeah. I haven't even, man, that's so far ahead.
Yeah, a lot can change. Lot can change.
Yeah, a lot can change.
I mean, if Tennessee goes out there this weekend and loses to Bama by 28, the narrative around them changes immensely. You know what I mean? It's they get beat down a couple of times, even if it's against good competition, all that momentum they have, it kind of just disappears. So.
Yeah, and we, man. Tennessee is tricky. I mean, when you look up at them, and then of course, because you're seeing a bunch of passing, but we don't really know. I don't feel like they've been tested. And then looking back at Kentucky, even so here was like a big difference in what I noticed. And we're talking about how we're not playing the greatest or whatever, and we're playing kind of dirt, grimy or whatever, like some of these other teams got errors and things going on. But we've been on a steady incline through the year, whereas like Kentucky was kind of almost on a steady decline through the year. You know what I mean? So that's one sign I look at going forward, is we have been steadily improving week to week to week to week. So maybe by the time we get to Tennessee and Clemson, maybe we're on point, and maybe we will have seen enough from those guys and the weaknesses we can exploit. That's our hope there. But we definitely got to make it through this 4-team gauntlet. I mean, Vandy can't be counted out this year, right? I mean, they might be tough, right?
Right. I mean, I think you obviously expect to win that game, but I mean, the Vanderbilt game, I think every year is so interesting because yes, you own them and you have the winning streak against them, but you could also look at it as like they're due. You know what I mean? They're due to beat you, and they almost did last year. So I don't think you can take any SEC game lightly. I mean, I think that I think we all believe when this team is playing well and it's clicking, they can beat anybody that's left on the schedule. But I think we also believe that when this team, we've also seen them play in a way that makes you believe they could also lose to anybody that we have left. So. No, I mean, you certainly, I think Vandy too. Also, I like Clark Lee, their head coach. I like what he's doing, and they've got a mobile quarterback. They got a dual threat guy. So yeah, I mean, it'll be a challenge, but yeah, which is why I kind of say we're kind of on pace for where a lot of people picked us to be, I think, in the preseason, with that 7-5 type of finish. We're kind of right there.
Yeah.
Kind of on pace for that.
I always said 8-4 was a good, reasonable number for us, and 9-3 would be stretching it. But hey, we might pull that off, and we're right in position to do that because I mean, hey, but we got to pick up a Clemson or Tennessee win for 9-3 if we can get these four toss-up games. We still have to have one of those. Hey, you picked us to beat Clemson, so maybe we do.
I did pick us to beat Clemson over the summer. So I know that it's funny. I know I picked us to lose to Kentucky the week of the game, but over the summer I did have us beating. I did have us over the summer beating UK. So I guess I should have stuck with my prediction from the summer because I'm 100% from those summer picks. So hopefully it doesn't continue completely because I did have us getting beaten pretty well by Texas A&M, but that was almost a pick out of the principle of it, just like until we beat A&M, it's hard for me to pick us to beat A&M, but now with the way they look, you never know. So
yeah, I want to hit on something real quick, but I want to talk about something else afterwards. I see Jesse different now that I got internet. I can see these people commenting while I'm talking to you. He said we didn't improve against Georgia, and I know that the final score on that game made it look rough, but we had a lot of improvement in Georgia. There was a lot of good, positive things, and I talked about that, and people said I was crazy, but I hear other like ESPN or an Alex McGrath type person. I don't say Alex, but I've heard other people come back and say, actually, against Georgia, there was a lot of there was a lot of positives. They were there. It was hard to see. When you go and look at that final score, you couldn't see that in that game. All you could see was, damn, we got blown out. Remember, I texted you. I tweeted you like during the Georgia or after the Georgia game. And I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna break down for these guys this week. It's gonna be a positive spin. It was like I don't see it, man. I don't see any positive spins here. And when I got into the footage, I did. But something I'm trying to move forward on is because a lot of people think I'm always defending Satterfield. But I put out a video today about that, and my big thing is situational play calling, like McGrath brought up, but also the Bell usage. My probably half my video is literally talking about Bell, and why he's not being utilized. And I think listen, guys, it's hard to critique after you get a win. Oh, obviously the game plan worked out, but man, for so many reasons, Bell should be getting more snaps than Atkins. I know that the blocking schemes and yada, 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 but man, I talked about that a lot. And I feel like, they've let Atkins take the snaps from that kid, man, quite honestly. And I don't like it. I don't like it.
Yeah. I mean, I'd agree with you. I think we all want to see Jaheim Bell touch the football more, bottom line. So, we all saw it's just tough because we all saw what he was capable of in the bowl game and the way he impacted that game. And I'm not saying he's going to do that every week, but yeah, it's I don't know. It's still kind of a mystery of why he's not more involved. And like you said, I know Atkins is a better blocker. I understand that, but which is why I really thought, I know they talked about over the summer, he's a wide back, he doesn't play one position, but I don't know. I kind of felt like they should have moved him outside and just made him a wide receiver. I mean, just showing that athleticism and speed he showed in the bowl game. Like, if he's not a great blocker, like you said over the summer, he's not a tight end. So, like, why are you judging him off how good he is at tight end? I posted a graphic over the weekend about his snaps at each position, and it's just surprising to me how little he has lined up on the outside. I think he only has like 12, 13. So, and his most have come at tight end. So, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, you like to think the folks in the building, they know how to utilize him, but granted, then I don't doubt, or I don't blame people for doubting that, because it feels like Bell should be a bigger part of this offense. It really does.
I still feel like, and I did a video breakdown like when I first started doing them, and I was doing the chess pieces, and now obviously I'm doing stuff with actual clips from games now that I have internet and stuff. But I feel like, I had said this before, if they just more classify him like a fullback, he can still move up to the tight end position to chip in on blocks. He can still rotate out into the formation. The real issue is he's not in there enough off the ball, like in the backfield. So they line him up in the backfield. You pretty much know Jaheim's getting the ball. All eyes are now locked in on Jaheim. He's going to have to be in the backfield. If they're going to put him in the backfield, they're going to have to put him in the backfield to do blocking, to run routes out of the backfield. And he's going to have to be in there more frequently so that the defense to see him in there not getting the ball out of the backfield, or see him in there with the play not designed to go directly to him every time he's in there, for him to get that. And now that the coaches are all, 2 weeks in a row, I have heard Jaheim's getting much better at his blocking. Jaheim's getting, okay, well, let's see it in the game then. If you're telling me that blocking is what kept this kid from playing so much, now 2 weeks in a row, you've told me how much blocking he's improved, how that's improved so much for him. By Texas A&M, let's see it. Okay, let's see it, because that's I'm all about giving these guys a chance, and you know that. But I just said, just like Kentucky, I said, let's see it. If we're that close and we're this close to ready, let's see it in Kentucky. If Jaheim is truly that close to being better for his blocking and the things they need out of him, let's see it by Texas A&M, or you're lying to it. You're just lying to it.
I think that's well said. Bree, listen. I think that's very well said. I think that's very, very well said. We need to see it. We need to see it for sure. Bree, I appreciate the call. Always a pleasure chatting with you.
Yep.
Commentary
Later.
on point as always. Yeah, take care. Great stuff from Lady Bree. And I'd agree. I want to see more from Jaheim Bell. It's And I think what's interesting, by the way, I don't want to read too much into, post-game comments or just comments in general. But when they say things like, well, it's about who practices the best, and you make the plays in practice, you make the plays in the game. Like, they've said that a lot this season. They've said that a lot about Jaheim Bell, I feel like. And so I don't want to unfairly say this, and I'm not really just going off of that comment, though. It makes me think, like, is Jaheim Bell not practicing the right way? Do they not like the way he practices? Like, what? Like, because why else would you? It almost sounds like they're challenging him to practice better in those post-game comments. And I mean, I don't have the comments in front of me, so I apologize if I'm, I know what I read, and I don't think I'm spinning the comments in any way. But I don't know. I just, the way they talk about him, it just seems like, I'm like, do they not like the way he practices? I don't know. I see you folks asking about the Carry-On Joiner. I ain't getting into that, man. I'm just not doing it. I ain't doing it. No, it's fine. I'm just messing with you. I mentioned it yesterday about Dak Joyner. A lot of folks still ask about him on social media. And again, simply put, guys, the best way I can explain it to you is this. There's a wide receiver room full of a lot of talented people that are all fighting for reps. And I think the reality is that there are guys that are ahead of him on the depth chart. And again, there's only one football to go around, and you got playmakers that need to get it, need to touch it, and he's fighting for snaps. He's fighting for snaps. So that's the reality of why you're not seeing the Carry-On Joiner on the field. Because let me ask you this: if you're giving reps to someone else, you're taking them away from another guy. So who are you taking those away from? Is there a guy that's getting reps that shouldn't be, you think, that he should be getting those reps? I mean, that's. So that's the easiest way I can explain it. When it comes to them trying to be productive on offense, they've only got one football, and you got to pick and choose who it goes to. So, any info on Corey Rucker? He seems to be ass-chapped about not dressing out for Kentucky, then posting a lot of Arkansas State. And caption said, "Just want to play ball." Where is that at? Is that on like Instagram or something? I tell you, again, it's dangerous to make any type of draw any conclusions, right? To draw any conclusions. Let's see. I don't know. Oh, yeah, I see it on his Instagram story. Just want to play ball, fam. I don't know. Rucker is a very interesting case, I feel like. We've heard a lot of things about Corey Rucker. I don't know. I don't know what Corey Rucker's deal is. I mean, Shane Beamer said that he's still dealing with an injury. Is that the case? Is he not fully invested? I don't know. Luke RJ, what's up, man? He says, is there any truth in that Kitchens called the plays in the second half? That is the rumor circulating, Luke RJ. That's a rumor that is circulating. I cannot confirm nor deny that rumor, but something changed in the second half. There is no question something changed. Like, here's the thing. I don't care who calls the plays. I do not care. I just want us to be productive offensively. I don't have like a preference, like, oh man, I really like, I've said that forever. I don't care who the head coach is, who the OC is, who the DC is, who the quarterback is, who the kicker is. I just want to win games. I don't care. Like, I just want to be productive and win. Like, I don't have a preference one way or the other. You know what I mean? So, but here we go.
To accept.
Robbie, what's up, man? How are you?
I'm doing good. Just sitting here eating my lunch, watching the Spurs Up show. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, man. Appreciate you asking. What's going on?
The main thing that I want to see next week, whenever we play, okay, because obviously this week we do not play. We got a week off. I want to see a major difference in every facet of our game. Like, show that you took full blown advantage of the basically the 2 weeks you had to get ready for A&M. Show on the field that you took full advantage of that, and go out there and use the momentum that we have and take care of business. Because this is probably our best shot that we're going to have at beating A&M.
Yeah, I mean, I think you look at the history of the series, and I think it's, I think you can certainly make a case. This is the best chance you've had to beat them, no doubt. So, we talked about it last week about Shane Beamer separating himself from, the abysmal Muschamp era, the end of the Spurrier era, and just, things looking different. That's why fans were so frustrated. 5 games through the season, as it felt like it just looked the same. And so snapping a lot of these streaks and reversing a lot of these trends, right, is one of the things that Shane Beamer needs to do to show that things are different. And so, obviously it's a top priority to end this streak against A&M, no doubt. I mean, you don't like to carry any type of, they've beaten you 8 in a row. You've never beaten them. It's got to end at some point. So getting them at home at night, A&M is very gettable. It's the most winnable game you've had against Texas A&M, I think, since the two teams started playing in 2014. So,
yeah. And I could care less who does the play calling as long as we score, okay? I don't care who it is. It could be freaking...
It could be you.
Big Bird from Sesame Street or freaking Foghorn Leghorn, okay? I don't care. As long as we score, I don't care. Would I do it? Yeah, I would do it. Yeah, I would do it. And you know what we would do?
Score a lot of
Throw
points.
the ball deep. Yes, I'd make sure we threw the ball deep, no matter who we're playing. Okay? Because if I see that my best receiver is on a team's worst corner, I'm gonna be like, throw it to him. I don't care if he's covered. Throw a 50-50 ball and let's see if he can come down with it. And just like against Kentucky, if we win 2 or all 3 facets of the game against A&M, I think we can snap that streak this year. And I don't know what our defensive line coach did, but whatever the heck he did to get the boys ready for Kentucky, do that.
I will say, Robbie, if we win all 3 facets of the game, we will beat Texas A&M. I agree with that.
And I don't know what he did to get the boys ready for Kentucky, but whatever he did, do the same thing, okay? I don't care how you do it. Just do whatever you did to get the – because I don't remember. It's been a while since I think we've had 6 sacks in one game. I don't know if we had 6 sacks in a game at all last year.
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Whatever it is you did to motivate those guys, do it again. And until it quits working, you do it again. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. If anything, find a way to do it even better. Whatever it is you did to get the boys ready for Kentucky.
Well, I mean, like I said, I think the culture climate comments played a big part in that game. But I tell you this, I mean, obviously the Texas A&M game. I mean, if you need somebody to fire you up for that night game at Willie B against a team you've never beaten, there's, I mean, we're Gamecocks. We literally wake up every day with a chip on our shoulder. I mean, it's just you have a chip on your shoulder as a Gamecock. There's just no other way to put it. I mean, you're the lovable losers, right? We're the Cubs of college football.
Especially whenever it comes to A&M, yes. We got a major chip on our shoulder.
Yeah, I mean, I that's why, like, some of the comments about, are you scared we'll get complacent? I mean, I don't think you should set unrealistic expectations for your program, right? I think keeping realistic expectations are important, but, like, how can you be complacent? Like, until you win a championship, until you win a ring, like, I just, how can you? I just, because that's the ultimate goal. So, yeah. I mean, anyways, I think we'll come out fired up again. It's pretty impossible not to be fired up for a night SEC game at your house. So, yeah, I think Coach Beamer and company, I don't worry about that with us. I think we will come out ready to play. Now, do we start fast? I don't know. We haven't really done that. So, even against Kentucky, we didn't. I mean, we got the fumble, but outside of that, first half was abysmal. So, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't understand what it is. I really don't. I really, really don't. And it's all on the offense because defense started fast, special teams started fast, and just offensively, I don't know. I don't know why early in the game we just really struggle to get going. But I don't know. Maybe we can figure that out with the bye week.
I really hope so. And I feel like we need to figure out other ways to get Bell the ball, because one thing that I noticed while watching the game against Kentucky, anytime Bell was in the backfield, I was like, I could tell right from the get-go, oh crap, Kentucky's bringing the house. They're bringing everything plus the kitchen sink, and they already know Bell's getting the ball. And then before Bell could even get a yard, he was already tackled. They have got to figure out a way whenever Bell is on the field. Don't make it obvious that the ball is going to him. If you line him up in the backfield, it's already obvious who's getting the football. Do you agree or disagree with what I just said?
No, I agree.
Because there is no denying that boy is an absolute stud, okay? Even though his breakout game was against a sorry defense in UNC, okay? That boy is an athlete. And like you said just before I called, there's only one ball, and there's, like, depending on what we're doing, there's only so many people that can get the ball.
Yeah, I mean, there's only one football, man, but Jaheim Bell needs to touch it. I don't know. It's and again, we can. I think we can. We can sit here with a clear mind, be happy about the victory, ecstatic, excited, and still still realize that I would still predict. I'll go on record today and say that I would predict that when the dust settles at the end of the season, fans will still be calling for a change at OC, and I think it'll happen. I don't think Marcus Satterfield will be here next year. I really don't. I don't think you're going to be able to look back at this season and say we met expectations. I don't think. Now, who knows? Maybe we will improve, and I won't be saying that. But right now, I think we've got, and that's the thing. We're on a high right now. Beat Kentucky. 2 weeks from today, we could be back on a low after losing to A&M at home, and then we could beat Mizzou, and it just this roller coaster up and down, and So I unfortunately think the hair pulling out because of the offense will probably continue. I don't think all the issues are solved. I think there's still things that make you scratch your head. And I think the biggest thing I hope for is that this defense can step up and special team steps up and, sort of carries us when they need to. And I mean, obviously our offense needs to get better, but, or maybe we can take what we did in the second half against Kentucky and whether it was a different voice calling the plays or we just really executed that much better, we can take that moving forward and parlay that success into even more. So, but I just tend to think, I tend to think that probably we will be making a change at OC at season's end. That's kind of my gut feeling.
Yeah. I'm starting to get that feeling too myself.
Is that the OC feeling, or is that the pizza rolls feeling? Are you sure it's the OC?
Dude, you're a psychic. I'm literally eating pizza rolls, no joke, and I didn't even tell you.
What a guess! What a guess!
But anywho, yeah, I don't think that Satterfield will be back this season. Okay. I mean, I hate it for him, right? Yeah, I mean, but you know what? The proof is in the pudding, and the pudding ain't there. I mean, we started slow against Charlotte, and we started slow against State. You're not supposed to start slow against teams like that. And we started slow against Georgia State, okay? Teams like, I mean, no disrespect to Georgia State, but teams like that, you freaking put the pedal to the metal no matter what. Against teams like that, you got to freaking prove a point from the first drive all the way until the game is over. And say there's no reason for you to be on this field. The only reason you're here is because we're paying you. Now take your ass whooping and go home. Okay? I will not be satisfied. It's like probably most of everybody in here, okay? I will not be satisfied until I literally see that offense score on our first three offensive drives to start a game. Okay, I will not be satisfied until I see that. If they really want to build some confidence over the next 2 weeks, over these next 2 weeks, and these next stretch of games, your first 3 to 4 drives, score points. I don't, preferably 6, but if you can get 3, take it. I don't care.
Just score, and score some more. Absolutely. Robbie, well said as always, my friend. Always a pleasure to chat with you. It's truly a treat.
Thank you, man. You have a great rest of your day and have a great rest of the week, and I hope everybody has a great week. Go Cox. To hell with Clemson.
Indeed. Well said, Robbie. Appreciate you, my friend. Great stuff as always from Robbie Davis. Guys, we're going to jump into a quick break, but on the other side, I want to continue to hear from you. More of your questions, comments, calls, and more. You're tuned in to the Daily Crow. All right, guys, we're back. Taking your questions, comments, calls, 843-790-3377. Let me say this, by the way, because I see folks commenting in the Big Cock Club Discord and the TDC Questions channel. Guys, I'm not sitting here breaking news reporting that somebody was calling the plays in the second half that wasn't Marcus Satterfield. All I'm saying is that there's a rumor out there. We all know how rumors work. I am not telling you that that's for sure 110% what happened. I mean, I've heard from a couple of people, but I'll be honest with you, I take stuff like that with a grain of salt. You know, if it comes out officially official, and it probably never will, because that's going to be something they keep behind closed doors, but that's just the rumor. So I don't, I just want to make it clear that I'm not sitting here telling you like, that's 110% what happened. Like that word is gold. Like it's just floating out there. Maybe it is what happened. I just want to make that clear. I just want to make that clear. I just, you know, I want to make that clear. So, you know, whatever. You know, there's Tyler, no Beamer presser. They don't do pressers during the bye week. No, when they have bye weeks, they do not do press conferences. Jacob E says, I feel bad for Dak Joyner. He should have transferred. Well, Jacob, the last time I said that, people tried to cancel me off the internet. So I'll leave it be. Let's see. Let's see. Age of Hours. Sat has 2 weeks to prepare for A&M. If we don't see anything different, it'll be hell the Sunday after. Dude, bye week Sat. Do not doubt bye week Sat, AJ. Hey, we've seen Satterfield with extra time to get ready, and this man is a magician on the offensive side. So, he's a magician. Also, by the way, to earlier, I saw John Rice comment about the whole hat thing. I have a lot of hats. Definitely more hats than shoes. I've actually tried to like slow down on the hats because I'm like, I got to a point where I was just buying hats just constantly. Dude, I've got tons of MLB hats I don't even wear. So yeah, got lots of hats. Lots of hats. Let it be Slam. Where is this Kitchens play calling dirt coming from? Again, dude, all I did was guess. Somebody just said, if you had to guess, if you had to project who it was, who would you say? I don't know who I don't even know if it was somebody different calling plays. That's just the hot rumor, man. But again, though, it kind of feels like the offense looked different. The offense looked better. The offense was more productive. So somebody else had to be calling plays. I don't know. Again, I don't care who's calling the plays. I don't give a damn who's calling the plays, guys. As long as the offense is productive, that's really all I give a damn about. So, listen, you got to trust Shane Beamer that he's going to appoint the proper people to get the most out of this offense the second half of the season. That's it. Bottom line. The bottom line. So, if that's Marcus Satterfield, if that's Freddie Kitchens, if that's Justin Stepp, if that's somebody else, if that's himself, I don't know. But again, I would just say I am not sitting here like reporting to you. This just in. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. Rebecca, yes, I saw the super chat. Thank you. I appreciate that, Rebecca. Thank you. It means a lot. I appreciate it. Guys, phone lines are open if you want to call in. And if anybody wants to keep me up to date with how the Braves are doing, I won't be mad at you for it. So I will not be mad at you for it. Braves are on the tube right now for our baseball fans out there. Looks like they're losing. Damn. Dang. No bueno. 2-0 Phillies. What's going on with Freed? I think it's 2-0 Phils from what I just saw, the highlight I just saw on Twitter. So, yeah, if you go look at the statistics, though, Marcus Satterfield has done well when he's had extra time. So, whatever it means. Kemper Keenan says getting paid $900,000 a year. Kemper, what's up, man? Hope you're doing well. Todd Smith, it's Super Chat Tuesday. NDE, man, dude, I appreciate y'all. Todd, thank you. Thank you. In case y'all missed it, Todd Smith with, I think, the largest Super Chat donation, $200 in the history of TDC. Dude, I appreciate it, man. Todd, that means a lot. I'll tell you guys this. I can't say thank you enough. It's to be able to do this on a daily basis and to realize a dream every single day is just, and the fact that like the way we've built it and done it, right? Like I haven't sold out to we've got to latch on to like a bigger company or anything. Like I've been able to do it the way I wanted to do it and be independent and keep creative control. And, I think that's one of the things that some people I think get frustrated, right? Because, and I know what I do is extremely unique, especially in the college space. I think what I do is more common in the professional space, the professional sports space, the national sports space, right? But what I do and what we do in the college sports space, most of the time when it's a show like ours, they represent the university, right? They are a representative of said university they're covering. And what's so awesome about what I do is I'm not affiliated with the university in any way at all, right? And I think that's where some people, they get confused and get frustrated because they say, you're representing USC. Well, yes, USC is my subject matter for sure of the content that I create, but I am not affiliated with the University of South Carolina. And that is a blessing, not a curse. That gives me the freedom and the ability to say whatever I want to say. I can literally get behind this mic and say anything. Now, I've got a responsibility to you all, right, to be informative and entertaining and also truthful and to be real and not to abuse the power that is the platform. But creative control is something I will never trade. Creative control is something I value above anything else, right? Above anything else. I like literally the thing that makes me and why I did not do well in the corporate world, the thing that makes me sick to my stomach and why I had to get out of it was, I don't like to be told what to do. I really don't. I don't like to, because it doesn't matter how much money you're making, what you're doing. If somebody's telling you, at least this is how I'm wired. I'm not telling anybody. This is just how I'm wired. For me, it was like if somebody is telling me what to do and where to be and what time to be there, I don't have real freedom. I'm not free. I'm not a free human being. I'm not a free individual. That's what I value. You know what I mean? That's what I value, freedom. That's one of the things I value, at least. So, and it's funny, I don't even really remember how I got on this tangent, but some people get this, oh, you're reflecting USC. Like, no, I represent myself. USC is my subject matter, and I'm a South Carolina fan, but South Carolina and I are not affiliated in any sort of way. I mean, you guys know that. That is very evident, right? That is, I mean, I won't go through the history and the tweets and everything that's happened over the last couple of months, or over the last couple of years, really, but I represent myself. So, and that's okay. USC is just the subject matter. So, anyways, did it start over Dak, Lady Beer? What was I saying? Are you sure that's what it started? Anyways, I see y'all commenting and chatting about the Carry-On Joiner. The good news is that I know the people in here and we can have critical conversation, right? We can have tough conversation and be real about things. And yeah, I mean, I would just say, I mean, I see a lot of you commenting about where certain players are. I mean, listen, guys, I would just say this. I still don't know. Anyways, I would just say their job as coaches is to put the best possible players on the field, and only so many guys can touch the football, and so they got to put the best guys they feel give you the best chance to win, and the carry-on joiner is not one of them. I mean, that's just that's the most simplest way to put it, and if you can't, if that bothers you, I have nothing for you. There's no hope for you if you can't wrap your brain around and understand that. AJ Bowers, have we ever lost in the throwback unis? I can't remember if we have. I don't know. I really don't know. I'd have to look. I have no idea. I don't think we have it. I don't know. I don't know. Just a pure guess. But yeah, I mean, I'm certainly not. I mean, but I think what it goes to show too. I think what it goes to show, like the way NIL has changed things in college sports and college football, and I mean, I think guys, if you're, here's the thing, if you're a collegiate athlete, right, and you're at an SEC school, this could be any SEC school, and maybe you don't want to play in the NFL, right? Like maybe, which Luke RJ posts something in the TDC Questions channel. I'm not exactly sure I understand the picture, because the creative control is not the muzzle, Luke RJ. It's actually quite opposite of a muzzle. It's USC is the muzzle. They are the muzzle. The creative control is the freedom, my friend. So anyways, whatever. But I think you're going to see that if you're a collegiate athlete and you know that going pro is not, you either don't want to do it, or you are able to be honest with yourself and say, hey, like I'm not a professional athlete. Like that's not going to be what I do in life, right? That's not my lane. Why would you transfer a level down and go play? If you can bank, if you can cash in on NIL, right? Why would you? I mean, guys, DeCarrion Joyner has made over 6 figures from that Mayo Bowl. Maybe, and I can't believe I'm even talking about this, because I told myself I wasn't going to have any more conversation because people lost their minds previously. But when weighing the options, let me just say that when weighing the options, maybe the option to stay at Carolina was more beneficial in a multitude of ways than going to a lesser school, a lower level school. Obviously it was. And you applaud the loyalty, but I think also there probably were options weighed, and that's why he's still, and that's something that it doesn't matter what school, what athlete, what sport even. I'm sure you're going to see a lot of athletes do that. Like, you only have 4 years, 5 years, whatever. If you can get NIL and you can capitalize on that, why wouldn't you? You know, why wouldn't you get game-changing type of money if you can do it? Because if you leave the school, you ain't getting that money no more. So, yeah. But in regards to why certain guys are getting snaps and why certain guys aren't, I would just tell you guys, their job is to put the best 11 out there and to put the most productive guys out there. And when you're creating a depth chart, right, your job as a player is to go win a job, you know? And if you don't do that, you're not going to get a lot of snaps. I mean, that's just it. So that's as kindly and as simply as I can put it. Yeah. Anyways. Guys, phone lines are open if you guys want to call in. Podcast will drop tomorrow. It'll be a pretty short one. We'll just talk SEC gambling picks, but it won't be a very long show. Just giving my picks really quick, and I might talk a little bit with just the content plan and some updates and changes, if you will. But pretty short show. But in case you missed it, I've made the decision. The Daily Crow, instead of being on a separate podcast feed, it is now going to be distributed through the Spurs Up Show podcast feed now as well. So, yes. So you guys will be seeing that now every single day. I just think that makes a lot of sense, streamlining everything instead of trying to have a bunch of different feeds, if you will. Just streamline everything, make it easy, make it simple. right? Make it simple for people, right? AJ Bauer says, early prediction, Lloyd scores 2 touchdowns and goes for 180 against Texas A&M. AJ, I think if he does that, I think we win. Shout out AJ Bowers, by the way. You talk about an optimistic Gamecock fan. AJ, he picks us to win, I think, every week. AJ picks us to win damn near every game, so I respect it. The energy does not change with a guy like AJ Bowers. I respect it. Colin Floyd, do you think we can be that 3rd team in the East? Possibly, yeah. I mean, I think you'd have to beat Florida, beat Mizzou. I mean, it's possible. Yeah. Here we go. Luke RJ, what's up, man? How are you?
I'm good, Chris. How you doing today?
I'm doing well. Appreciate you asking. What's up?
Yeah, you said you weren't going to talk about Joyner anymore.
Yeah, well, when the banter is nonstop in the comments, I mean, I don't know, but I also feel like too, it's like we can have constructive combo in here, especially in the Daily Crow, and I mean, it's not that I can't talk about it. It's just that I just prefer not to, because people get so in their feelings about it, and they just they let their emotions run wild. But I think that every experience like that, when you have because if you're in the content game, if you're going to make any type of waves, that type of stuff inevitably is going to happen, because you're going to say some things that just don't resonate with people. You just are. I mean, it's like I've said before, I give thousands of takes. I'm posting content, bleeding out the eyeballs, as I say, tons of content. There's going to be a couple pieces of content, a couple opinions that just don't land with people, man. It happens. Especially when you're making content in the college space, where fan is short for fanatic. Fans are already hypersensitive, no matter the sport, no matter the league. But at the college level and in the SEC, the sensitivity of fans, I'm not saying this to knock anybody, but it's a line I've had to learn to toe during my time doing this and my evolution, doing the Spurs Up show, because you can't talk about the athletes or the teams or the coaches at the college level the way you do at the pro level, right? I mean, would you agree with that? I mean, it's a much different dynamic, because, they're paid professionals, so I can say this guy's garbage. I can say he's a trash human being. I can say that coach is a clueless idiot. But like, you can't really say that at the college level, because people take it so personally, right? So, anyways. We can talk about whatever. If people want to know why a certain guy's not playing, again, I think the answer is very simple. It's just, you have a depth chart, and the coaches are putting the best guys out there they can, and he's not one of them. I don't know what else you want me to say. It's just, that's unfortunately the way it works, and there's only one football to go around, right? And a lot of guys, when you touch it, and hell, a guy like Jaheim Bell ain't touching it enough. So I mean,
there you go.
I doubt wide receiver 6 or wide receiver 7 is going to be getting a whole lot of touches.
Yeah, and the way they talk about, you got to practice well, or they bring that up.
Oh,
you just never know. You just never know.
That's not being brought up by accident. I refuse to believe that. I think that's a subtle message to everybody that maybe is disgruntled about playing time. I think Beamer's saying, if you want to play more, practice better. That's it. So
show it every day. Be there. Do what you're supposed to do. I don't know. Maybe that Rutger guy just thought he was just going to come in and just, because of what he did at the other school, that he was just going to have a starting job, and he can. I don't know. I don't know. But I think you handle stuff pretty well across the board, and you handled it pretty well today. I know you didn't want to talk about that much more, but he's just not. He's not high enough on the depth chart, and there's, we've already said everything there is to really talk about it.
And I know that you and I and many others in the Big Cock Club Discord, we've had heated discussion about it, but you made the point, and I think everybody else would agree that Spencer Rattler was brought in here to be this team's starting quarterback, and I don't think that will change unless injury happens, which, knock on wood, that doesn't happen. But I don't see a scenario in which Spencer Rattler's getting benched this year. I think you brought him in to ride him out and navigate this season with him as QB1. So that surely I don't think is changing.
Yeah. Yeah, Rattler's the quarterback, and that's who we brought in, and even Beamer, you know, at halftime he was like, you know, we're not we believe in him, and we're gonna figure it out, and he just made no you know, he just said we're not going. We didn't even think about switching over, or changing the quarterback, you know.
Yeah.
And
Well,
you know, so,
I think that if you know, because I think I said this last week, but I think it hurts you more than it helps you, man. I really do. I just, because once you have that uncertainty under center, and that's just you're creating another problem. You know, I think you are.
Yeah.
I think you're creating another problem. I do. So you brought Spencer Rattler in here to be your guy, whether he meets your expectations or he doesn't. You brought him in here because you felt like he was head and shoulders better than anybody on your roster. I mean, there wasn't even a quarterback competition, dude. You know what I mean? Like, he was the guy. So what could have changed? You know, I know there's, and I know there's some people out there that, you know, this is an underlying thing, but I know this to be true. I know this to be true because I've talked to enough people and I've heard from enough people and I've seen enough of the comments. People say, you know, and we had Chase call in about it, and it's fine. It can your opinion, but people say he's not even a real Gamecock, man. He transferred in here. He hasn't waited his time like other guys have. It's like, bro, I don't give a damn. If he's the best available, I want him to play. That's the reality of the transfer portal, man. It is what it is. I mean, I just, you can't not play a guy because he hadn't gone through the ringer like some other guys on your roster. You know what I mean? So, yeah,
but at the time, you know, to Chase's credit a little bit, you know, he was throwing picks and
for sure,
not
for
playing
sure.
real great.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was right after SC
You know,
State, and he didn't, you know, he had the interceptions, and I mean, the numbers aren't great. The numbers aren't great for sure. So, I mean, I get it. He still needs to play better. I mean, there's no question. But hopefully, he can take that second half of Kentucky and, you know, maybe build off of it. So,
yeah, and you know, people just say, well, you know, he had 2 picks in SC State. Well, those picks really weren't on him. You know, I mean, it was just really unfortunate that you know is in the stats for that game. You know, it wasn't like, you know, but it still shows up. His numbers still, you know, aren't great as a whole. But the Kitchens thing, man, that's pretty interesting. You know, and like you said, you don't know if it's true or it's just a rumor. But what would you think about? What would you think about if they made Kitchens like at the end of the year, like co-offensive coordinator, didn't have to let go of Sat still on the sidelines with Beamer, talking to you know, the quarterbacks, you know, and everything on the sidelines. Don't have to, you know, change up the coaching tree or the coaches. And Kitchens is in the box, and now we got 2 offensive coordinators, and keeping Sat on board next year if things get really, really good, or even if Kitchens was helping with the play calling.
well, I think you'd have to determine whether Marcus Satterfield would want to do that because he's taking a demotion in that scenario, right? I mean, he obviously is. He's not the OC anymore, so I don't know. I think most, if the offense, which I think it will look back, like I said earlier, at the end of the season, say, you know, we didn't meet expectations. We need to go a different direction. I think most are going to want Satterfield out of here. I don't think many are going to say, let's keep him around. I mean, again, it's one of those things where you have to trust Shane Beamer, right? That he's going to make the move. And I think we've all said that the offense stunk this year, and he, for whatever reason, decided, hey, let's bring Marcus Satterfield back, that it would be somewhat of career suicide, and that people would, just in the sense of people would start to shift their blame from Marcus Satterfield to Shane Beamer and say, well, why is he unwilling to make a change? So, you know, I'm not saying I would do that. You know, I'm going to give Beamer the benefit of the doubt. And I mean, because you have to stand behind your coach, right? You just have to. We don't really have much of a choice. You got to believe in him until it becomes evident that something is not clicking or what have you. But I don't know, man. Egos run wild in coaching. And I mean, so I don't know that Sat would be willing to do that. You know, you're also going to be in that scenario, probably bumping up Freddie Kitchens' salary. And so, like, do you want to pay 2 offensive coordinator salaries practically? And I just don't think they'd do that. So I doubt that would happen. Let's put it that way. I doubt that would happen. But it's an interesting conversation, but I doubt it would happen. So
yeah.
And like I said, I don't know. I don't know if that's what was really happening in the second half, if somebody different was calling plays, but or maybe it literally just was better execution because I mean, damn, the Antoine Wells play, I mean, that was just a screen. That's all that was. That was a screen. We've been running those all year. And then you know, I will say the Brooks reverse play was a thing of beauty, but
yeah,
you know, I mean,
well, some of the runs looked a little different, didn't they? Or were they?
Well, I like that we were under center. I thought we were under center a little more. And I did like seeing that. So yeah, I mean, I did like seeing that. But I don't know. It's tough. Like, we have no idea. It's just a guess. It's a guess. So it's just a guess of was somebody different calling the plays. But I just want it to work, Luke RJ. I don't give a damn if it's Sat. I don't give a damn who it is calling plays. I mean, because of the way he's recruiting, I'd love to see Sat turn it around, dude. Like, it's not like I've got some personal vendetta against Marcus Satterfield. We all just want to see a competent offense. I mean, that's it. So, I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you know, but things could, you know, if we play like we did in the second half, the remaining 6 games and a full game, you know, who knows if the perception changes, you know. I mean, if we look back and say that the offense is like a top 50 the last 6 games or top 40, you know, and really start looking like that second half in all these games from start to finish, you know, maybe they figure it out, and maybe Kitchens is just helping and giving more input, you know, maybe it's just that, you know. So.
Yeah, I mean, maybe, I mean, yeah, I mean, I think they should use all resources they can. So I would like to think Kitchens is doing everything he can do to help. I mean, why not, right? He's on the staff for a reason. So,
yep. All right, Chris, it's good to see Todd Smith donating the super chat. That was pretty cool, man. And I just want to say, if y'all like the Spurs Up show, stuff like that, when you buy merch, when you do like that, you're supporting Chris and you're supporting what he's doing, and if you do that, you're helping what, you know, consume the content and keep things rolling, and it's all about the Gamecocks. So,
Luke RJ, you're the man. I appreciate the kind words, man. Always a pleasure to chat with you.
All right, Chris.
Yeah, man. Take care. Great stuff. Again, I appreciate those kind words. Thank you again to Todd Smith for the donation, the super chat. Thank you to Rebecca for the donations of the super chat. And thank you all for the love and support, man, on the you know, in all facets, like Luke RJ was saying, the merchandise, the super chats, the Big Cock Club, everything in between, you know, just showing love on social media, even just consuming the content. I truly do appreciate it. I cannot say thanks enough. So yeah, I mean, it means the world. It means the world. Without you guys, we couldn't do what we do. So thank you guys again. Appreciate you all tuning in. Stay tuned for the podcast tomorrow. TDC rocking as normal. And of course, those tuned into the Daily Crow podcast, this will be the norm. The TDC podcast dropping on now. We're condensing the feeds. We're streamlining everything. We're making it easy. We're making it simple. The Daily Crow can now be found on the Spurs Up Show podcast feed. So even more content for you all to listen to and tune into on a daily basis. Guys, we've hit 2 o'clock. It's actually 2:02. So I'm going to get out of here. Appreciate you all tuning in. Thank you all so much. Have a great rest of your Tuesday, and we will talk to you all tomorrow.